Hey girl, hey.
What's now?
Hey, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yes, yes. Good to hear. Good to hear. Okay, so let me see. Can I even turn my camera on? Yeah, you can see me?
Yes.
Perfect. So, okay, now when you leave the uh, well, this is gonna be on the recording, but when you leave the call, girl, you got to be able, they gotta be able to see you.
I know.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure. Um, yeah, so you're free right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because we can get started. It's just me and you. So if you want to just start, we can start.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to my room. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Danny's getting on now. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're on chapter 6. I don't know why Danny's thing is still connecting to the audio. Oh, there it goes. Hey, hey, Danny, stay fine and fabulous.
Hey, girl.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, girl. Okay, so we're on chapter 6. And Camila, like when you lead it, you can ask people if they want to read. It's up to you. But okay. Yes. Okay. Welcome to the book read. We're on chapter 6 today, ladies. Danny, I was asking you, what chapter did you read to?
My hair look crazy.
Can you hear me? It's very
Yeah.
crazy. I'm sorry.
Hi, Amber.
That's just my mother.
Hey, what's up, Troy? How's it going?
Great.
Good to hear.
Oh, go ahead.
Look at this.
Hi, Amber.
Hey. What? Everybody here, period. What are you doing right back out there?
I'm still here. I'm leaving in the morning.
Wait, but what are you doing out there, though?
I came out here yesterday for something. What's up?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow, okay, period. All the pretty girls is in the building.
Okay. So, have any of the
Okay.
ladies already read the chapter, or?
No, yeah, we could just start by reading chapter 6.
Okay, so chapter 6 of Sarah Jakes Power moves book. Does anybody want to read, or would y'all prefer me read?
In the beginning, if you could read, I'm still at work at the same time, so I'm listening. I'll be off soon.
Okay, you're fine. So, chapter 6, flip the switch. Marinate. Choose one of these more powerful than statements and place it somewhere you will see it every day. I believe that vulnerability is more powerful than silence. I believe that hope is more powerful than shame. I believe that joy is more powerful than pain. I believe that present is more powerful than past. I believe that dignity is more powerful than acceptance. I believe that attempt is more powerful than regret. I believe that discipline is more powerful than doubt. I believe that humility is more powerful than perfectionism. I believe that faith is more powerful than fear. I believe that wholeness is more powerful than loneliness. Activate. Make a decision about what you believe using this belief statement as fuel for the action you take. I believe that dignity is more powerful than acceptance. So I am choosing to limit communication with. I believe that vulnerability is more powerful than silence. So I am choosing to inform blank about blank. Blank, pray, blank. God help me to develop the chapter to support what I believe. So basically in the beginning of this book, she has gave us basically like some little affirmations and some things that we can be active working on in regards to ourself. Once I read a little bit more of the chapter, I guess we can go back and take a look at that. So the beginning of chapter 6 reads as follows. The measuring stick. I don't think there's any excuse for bragging. It's obnoxious and lacks humility. So it's not a brag when I say I am the best internet interior designer that you never knew about. I don't like shopping in person. I do everything online. I like to search for exactly what I need without having to pursue the aisles. Having said that, I must admit that I only became good at it by trial and error. I learned a lot about furniture quality, delivery service, color matching, and following the instructions with precision by making mistakes. The most valuable lesson I learned was to measure things before ordering them. I know you're probably thinking, how did she become the best internet interior designer while not knowing that she needed to measure before buying things? Well, pride comes before the fall, and after the fall comes mastery. After too many accounts for me to list, I learned that making the best use of my time, money, and space needed great intentionality. It's not that I didn't see the value in measuring before. I just figured that I could eye it and determine whether something would fit. It worked almost all the time, but when it didn't work, it was disastrous enough for me to say never again. I came to a place where accuracy was more important than epidency. When we're just in our lives and going about our days, we unwittingly fall into survival mode. Our goal is to simply get through the day as quickly and unstaffed as possible. When expedience becomes more important than accurately living according to our values, there will be damage. When there is no intentional effort made to ensure you're living according to the values you espouse, you will eventually find yourself drifting without an anchor. You're eyeing it, and you may get it right more times than you get it wrong. But there's also a chance that when you miss it, you miss big. Like the examples of the organizations we discussed earlier, your core values are the measuring stick that determines if you're living up to who you have the ability to be. Your ability to live within those principles determines whether you're living a life of integrity. When you compare the daily choices you make to the measuring stick of your values, you are able to see how you're growing your personal brand. Too often we are content not living up to our values. I have a question. Was there ever a moment that you felt like you weren't living up to your values?
That is a good question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, got you. I feel like I wasn't living up to my values probably like maybe a year or two ago. I was kind of like just sinning on purpose. And so, which a lot of us do, right? So, that's a time where I had to like reevaluate because I did not like how my life was going and I didn't feel good about it. And I'm like, okay, what can I change that maybe like blessings would come in? So I told myself I had to look at my values and make sure they're aligned with Christ and what he wants for my life. So yeah, so I made some changes and I feel like I'm being blessed because of it. Like y'all know I relocated to a different state and even with the relocation, like God is blessing me a lot. So I feel like, if I follow his values in my life, then, I'll be blessed. So yes.
Absolutely. So I can definitely attest to that. Because I have went through a similar situation. It was a relationship where I felt as though I wasn't living up to my values and my standard of what I truly want out of life and what I needed in life. Um, and just learning that, you got to still, like Coach Blaza said, walk with Christ, regardless of what you're going through. And in some situations, you can kind of get off course just because of the things that you're going through or the people you're connected to or around. And, so you have to realign yourself and get back to yourself and knowing what you are, who you are, and sticking with those values. Anybody else? Or did you
Yeah,
have
that's
something?
true.
I'll say very similar to what you guys are saying. There's a lot of times, and I always call it David moments, where sometimes we have to go through certain things. Like David just went through a lot of stuff. He went through a lot of stuff because he just kept making certain decisions, whether it was anger, whether it was lust, just a whole bunch of human experiences that he did not have to necessarily go through. But as a reminder to people who, he would be witnessing to even after his death, which is us as Christian people, it was supposed to happen for him and to him. And for me, there's a lot of things where I'm just like, dang, why did that have to happen? But a lot of those things were because I was doing things that weren't aligned with the Bible, aligned with, my lifestyle, aligned with how it should be. So that, as far as the question with the values, yeah, there's been plenty of times where like I would do stuff and then go back and then stop and then, the thing about it is, you got to understand the consequences that come into this. We love to sugarcoat this, and I'll get off my mic in a second. But we love to sugarcoat things, and be like the Bible or life, whatever. It's supposed to be this easy thing or whatever. And in reality, it can be simple if we just don't do stupid stuff and keep to our values, and hopefully our values align with how we should be living life. So yeah.
Yeah, that was good. And I feel like I want to piggyback off of what Camila said. Relationships. And so when you get in a relationship, like it should add value to your life. When you get with a man, God should be leading his life because if nobody's leading him, how can he lead you? Right? I tell him, like, I'm not gonna let Stevie Wonder lead me. Okay, I lead myself.
Ooh, all of those were so good. So she goes on to say, we give ourselves so much grace that we are impotent at developing the character and spirituality that allow us to be powerful on the earth. I'm not suggesting that you no longer have compassion for yourself when you miss the mark, but I want your compassion to lead to determination. Having compassion for when you mess up is only transformational when it leads you to try again. I had to learn this in relationship with God. I assume his compassion was reserved for things that happened to me, not things I did to myself. Foolishly, I believed in order to receive compassion from God, I needed to be the victim. But the hard truth that no one wants to hear is how God has just as much compassion for the victim as he does for the villain. God understands why we make the choices we make. He knows why we are hurting, upset, disappointed, or needy. He understands why we missed the mark. But his compassion for why we missed doesn't change his desire for us to not miss again. God is compassionate about what causes us to stumble and is compassionate about us getting back up again. Yes, you should have grace for yourself, but you should be cautious to make sure you don't take advantage of grace. You'll know you're taking advantage of it if you go into situations knowing that you're going to live on the outskirts of your values with the belief that God's love and compassion will meet you in the aftermath of your poor decision making. Let grace overwhelm you with its faithfulness, even when you have been unfaithful. Don't take grace for granted. Let it take you by surprise. Let grace overwhelm you with its faithfulness, even when you have been unfaithful. When you take advantage of grace, you miss out on the opportunity to have your character developed. Today affects tomorrow. Since tomorrow is not promised, how would you want to show up today? What values would you want to fully align with your words and actions? The commitment to relentlessly living a life aligned to your principle is how a person develops integrity. I want you to begin the journey of truly establishing your values and then begin to ask yourself, did I live according to my values today?
That was so good. I'm glad you paused. That's like what we was talking about earlier, that what I've been journaling and I've been reciting this, the definition of insanity. Insanity is doing the same things and expecting different results. So yes, give yourself grace, but give yourself grace when you make a decision. It's not a mistake. You decide what you want to do in your life, but give yourself grace, but don't keep making the same decisions, because past the first time, it's not a mistake. So stop making the same choices and thinking things are going to change for you when that's not the case. Like I've experienced that over and over again, right? Camila, you right there?
Yes, I'm still here. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, welcome in, Zykia. What's up, boo? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I can relate with that, that repeating that again. It's like re-strategizing, re-going back. But to have you to like to me, it's like I had to stop, pause, and think about what am I doing to constantly do the same thing? What can I do to change that mindset or whatever I'm doing so I won't keep doing the same thing? And once I do that, I start to understand. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have challenges later down the line after you doing good for so long. It's not going to pop up to see if you recognize it so you won't fall back into the same thing.
Yeah, that is so true. Okay, I thought Danny was about to unmute. Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, you really just got to watch your patterns. And how about this? How about the next time you tell yourself you're going to do something, change a habit, change your life, commit to it and don't quit. Because the first person that we lied to, we like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight, and then you eating bad food. You're lying to yourself. If you lie to yourself, you're never gonna get anything done, you know?
That is so
And so
true.
yeah.
That is so true. Because it took me about like 2 years to get down to a certain pound. Because I was like 192 and I took like 2 years to get down to 143. And that's because it was
Wow.
like I was trying to figure out, okay, what is it? All right, I'm not overeating. Then it's like, oh, I like this. Maybe if I do this, I do that. But I had to switch up a lot of things. I had to learn about calories, portions, and stuff like that. And that also a journey. And then putting in exercise, you get what I'm saying? So that also could be a relapse with the exercise situation. Because 1 minute you are, all right, I'm motivated, and then you start going in a slope. So that also play a part to extend the situation longer when it could have been prevented.
Absolutely.
So true.
So true. So the next thing she talks about is it's important that you make this a part of your daily practice. We're marinating on the choices you've made throughout the day and whether they align with your values. Try to reserve judgment and excuse making. Instead, take into account that the different rules you needed to enact today. What different set of values did you have to rotate based on the environment and individuals in front of you? With a simple yes or no, determine if you had a value aligned today. Where the answer is yes, you should commend yourself. Acknowledge the fact that you were able to honor God's vision on who you were supposed to be in that moment. Where the answer is no, ask yourself, what made it difficult to live up to your values? Did you get angry? Were you tired? Did you feel ashamed? Were you stressed? It's important to understand what moves you out what moves you out of the place of living in your values so that a warning flag can go up when you're experiencing those circumstances. Where you're feeling unheard, tired, or ashamed, you'll know that more than likely you're also living outside of your values. Unfortunately, I don't always realize I'm living outside of my values until I've snapped at someone or have become irritated by something small. This is where compassion versus grace becomes important. A mindset that takes advantage of grace may say, oh, well, I'm human. This will probably happen again. I do well in all of these other areas, so they should be able to let me slide in this area. The problem with relying on grace is that it disguises pride. When your ego convinces you that living outside of your values is permissible, you miss out on an opportunity for humility to become love and compassion from the person most affected by your actions. Compassion offers a much more honest reckoning. It says you have been functioning without being refilled by rest and vision for so long that you can't even see yourself. You should apologize first to yourself for living outside of your values, and then to those who've been affected by your inner disconnect. Then plan ways to give your mind, body, and spirit the value recalibration it longs for. Integrity is not just about honoring the people in your lives. It's about honoring yourself too. I pause for a minute because in this paragraph, she talks about apologizing to herself first, and then apologizing to others for being disconnected to yourself. I know I had to go back and apologize to myself first which I didn't. I'm going to be honest. I didn't apologize to myself first. I apologized to my children first. And then I had to go back and apologize to myself. And I think sometimes, well, let me back that up. We weren't really taught to apologize to ourselves. I don't know if any of you ladies have ever been taught to apologize to yourself, but for me, I was always taught to apologize to someone else, not myself. So that made it kind of hard to apologize to myself. I didn't feel the need to apologize to myself. I didn't feel like I should apologize to myself. And I also feel like when you apologize to yourself, that also allows you to have that accountability as to what you've done or what has gone on, and actually looking at it a little deeper. So for me, I had to apologize to myself, and it was an awkward feeling at first, but that's something I'm learning to do a little bit more, even in those uncomfortable relationships or friendships or business, whatever the case may be, learning to apologize to myself when I've done something that I don't feel as though I should have done or may have done. Has anybody else had shared a similar experience?
Yes, I definitely did. It was like 10 pages. And my apology is to my younger youth for what I went through, and the teenager, and the adult part. And my apology was the wrongs of others done to me and whatever I done to them. I wrote each name down. I wrote each specifically what it was. And to me, I burned the papers after I was done, and I felt relief and free.
That's good. Definitely like what I just said, when you make decisions, not mistakes, like you have to forgive yourself, which is like apologizing to yourself and tell yourself like, hey, we're not going to do that again, right? So I've had to do that too, give myself grace, like we said, so that it's not weighing on me. Because like if you let it weigh on you, it'll make you sad, depressed, whatever, anxious. And then like, what good is that when you feeling like that every day? So that's why you've got to forgive yourself, but tell yourself no more insanity. Like, don't do it again, Yeah. So we got 1 minute left. Camila, did you have any other comments for us?
Not really, but the only comment that I would mention is in the beginning of the chapter, the flip the switch, the things that you should work on, basically the affirmations that she gave to us, which is the marinate part, and then fill in those passages that she has down there where she left some blanks that we can go back and fill in ourselves and work on.
Can you send me pictures of those?
Yes, I can. Yep, I sure can. And she is going in and out. She's losing service.
So this meeting starts at 7 or earlier?
I believe it starts at 7. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. I like it. All right.
Yep. Well, I hope I was a good co-host for y'all today.
Yes. Yes. That really did help because I really enjoy that because I'm like, it touched on things like self-value and, self-healing as in letting trauma just be released and, God has a path for you. But then again, you have to take accountability. And that is true because a lot of people be like, oh, it's nothing but the devil, but don't take accountability. They're not
Right.
subconsciously thinking and they always blaming, like a child will blame someone else. You get what I'm saying? So
Yep.
that's what I enjoy of you saying that. And I don't think a lot of people really understand or realize stuff like that.
Nope. I know I've been that way before, so
Yeah,
I can definitely attest to it.
love that.
Yeah.
We get things like that to know, you know, that to warn us like this, there's Satan and stuff, but not to utilize it as a crutch. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we gotta hold ourselves accountable, right? So yeah, I gotta finish reading that rest of that chapter.
Yes. And that's what I was getting ready to say. So, ladies, make sure you guys finish reading the next part of this chapter, the rest of the chapter, and then we'll be on chapter 7 next week. So, yes, I look forward to seeing y'all back.
Okay, let's just pose really quick. Like, okay, love y'all. See y'all later. See you next week.
All right, good
All
night.
right.